Namasabaya. Respected dignitaries, Mataji, various bhaktas of this great Veda Pathshala and Yogi Ji's Shishyas, friends, dignitaries, you would have all had a heavy lunch and the sugar shoots up after your lunch. The kapham increases in your body, the ideal time to go into a sleep. The tamo gunam increases. What does Ayurveda tell about day sleep? It does not recommend day sleep, but which we love to do. We can't stop ourselves from sleeping. Ideal to take a nap in the sitting position, that is in what position you are all in, and not to lie down. That is what Ayurveda recommends. After having your lunch, walk for 1,000 yards and sit and nap for a few seconds. That's not going to cause any disease. So the topic given to me is new perspectives on science and technology in ancient India. As Mataji was explaining yesterday, after they had conducted 3 conferences in 2007, after which they could not go ahead in conducting these conferences. And she also told how Yogi Ji had predicted that in 25 years, the Vedic science will become so famous and so prominent in the world. Probably we are reaching that phase, 2023, in 3 years, we can look forward for more magic from the Indian sciences. That is why probably IIKS, Indian Knowledge Traditional System, has been even born and conceptualized in IIT. What are the new perspectives? Before going into that, have we understood the existing perspectives? We always want something new whenever the patient comes into our clinic, because you know the Ayurveda is so ancient and old. You have very moderate appearing clinics, no fancy, glass doors and white coated physicians and nurses and front offices who answer your call 24 hours. So whenever the patient walks in, they ask, what is new, doctor? I'm very sure Ayurveda would have got advanced in all these 20, 30 years. I have a leg pain. How are you going to cure me of? If we had changed our approach, we wouldn't have been able to treat COVID. If we are going to change the approach, we will not be possible to approach any epidemic which are going to come in the next decades to come. We cannot change. The Ayurveda's approach should not change. But the understanding of Ayurveda, the perspectives which we had, we have shed many of the existing perspectives where we had gone into the shelf and not accepted anything Indian. And such perspectives have started to change. Today is Tiruvadirai. I know many would have celebrated and taken the blessings of Lord Shiva and Parvati at your home. This star is very, very special star because it was the star in which 2 gurus were born. Can you name them? Tiruvadirai star. The 2 gurus of India, prominent gurus, were born. Sorry? Ramanar? Okay, I'm unaware. Next. 2 men who were even very, very seniors to them thousands of years ago. Ramanujar and Adi Shankaracharya. Can you tell me the date of birth of Swami Ramanujar? It is Panchami, Shukla Paksham, Tiruvadirai and Vishakha or Chitrai. And the birth star of Swami Adi Shankaracharya, Panchami, Shukla Paksham, same by Tiruvadirai and Vishakha. You will have the Advaitis praying to Adi Shankaracharyas here and Vishishta Advaiti praying here. Have we been together any day? Do we even know this? Do we even recognize that it was the same cosmic power which had taken birth at 2 different phases to take care of us? No. Probably this is the first time you're listening to it, right? Yes. It has hurt me many times, understanding how we've been taking different paths without knowing the purpose of why we've been born. This is Tiruvadirai, and in 2-3 months we are going to get both the Advaitis and the Vishishtadvaitis births there, and we have to sit and think as to how we are going to proceed. Yogi Ram Surat Kumar, I'm not a disciple of Swamiji. I've heard to many of his experiences through his books and writings. Last year, when my father had left this earthly abode, I was in a sort of depression. When on February 20th was my father's anniversary, death anniversary, means the 10th day function was happening, and it was Yogi Ji's also anniversary at that time. So what I work for gurus. You will find lots of videos of mine about gurus of India. So I thought I will just work on his life history and just prepared a video and posted it. I would have got hundreds of calls from Yogi Ji's Shishyas. There was one doctor also who had called me. And while he was, I never knew who was Yogi Ji. Why am I discussing spirituality in a scientific session is, IIT has started working on spiritual concepts, which is an unimaginable thing. Can you imagine scientific researches which are going to be made on this Vedic science? Yes, India has entered into it. So, Atma Gunas, what is a soul? Is it possible to do researches on what is Atma and what is Manas? We would have gone through many experiences which are called deja vu, right? And many coincidences which match with these things which happen in the cosmic field, like the Tiruvadirai star. Why should two saints be born at two different times and propose two different concepts to understand the Vedas? We believe that the star and the powers manifest different living creatures with the same, living beings with the same nature, right? So these are difficult things which we have to do, which I think India should take steps to do research on. So when the doctor was speaking to me, he was discussing about his experience with Yogi Ji and how a butterfly would manifest whenever the doctor traveled, and Yogi Ji would bless him with a butterfly which would travel with this Shishya of his. So it was my first call, and as he was speaking, I would find my 9-year-old daughter who was not well versed in drawing. She would start drawing a butterfly. So I was touched because I was in pain after my loss of my father. I would discuss it immediately with the doctor on phone. Although you are so scientific and you're a researcher or you're a doctor, you get moved by such things. So as I sought Yogi Ji for 2 months, I would start getting many more such coincidences, if you're going to tell in scientific terms, or blessings of Yogi Ji. It went to a level that I would enter too much into Adhyatmikam and I would myself stop because practicality is different, and I would stop seeking Yogi Ji. Last month when we had done this conference at Raj Bhavan with the hands of Governor R.N. Ravi, we had felicitated 33 Ayush experts, which was a historical moment. I was very upset. I missed my father and I wanted some positive sign from the cosmic force. Can you imagine? There was a mail from Ved Patashala from Yogi Ji inviting me to this conference. I thought it as a blessing from this cosmos, these silence messages from the cosmos, which is what we've been discussing since yesterday. Indian astronomy, Indian mathematics, today is Indian chemistry and Ayurveda. These are subtle messages which you keep getting from the consciousness. These are what we are trained for, the Vaidyas. I still remember in 2019 when the world was speaking about COVID, we would find Guduchi, that is Seambilcodia or Tinospora cordifolia, suddenly growing in much quantity in our clinic. We were surprised why did this Guduchi grow here, because we had just planted a small sapling. In January 26th, we will get the recommendation from the Indian government to get prepared for COVID, and the first herb which was written was Guduchi or Tinospora cordifolia. The plants which have to take care of you grow in your own kitchen yard. We don't have a kitchen yard and space. We have got disconnected from the environment. That is the first problem. We had many queries from the public asking the doctors, "Doctor, have you done research on this? Doctor, have you done research on this?" I would like to question you back, what have you done for the Ayush system? Have you all not been born in this country? What have you all done for the Vedas and Ayurveda? I'm not being disrespectful. We have been out of focus since 70 years. Let us accept. We don't know the purpose of the Vedas. We don't know the purpose of Ayurvedas. We don't know the purpose of Indian medical sciences or Indian sciences. The purpose was to understand the cosmos, and the only purpose of life, shall I tell you what, is to live a healthy life. Nothing else. Nothing else matters. Not this conference. Nothing else matters. If we are going to sit calmly, eat wisely, do some yoga, take some herbs, we are going to be healthy for 120 years without getting attached to the Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsaryam. Simple life, right? But why are we struggling? So I wish IIT also takes up research on understanding what is a soul. It is possible. I was speaking with researchers who have already started working very much on how to decodify and how to represent the body model with the help of science. I'm very happy. I would also recommend them to start working on how to depict the Atma and the Manas through depictable mechanisms through physics and physical means. I know it's a challenge, but the parameters have already been told in our textbooks. So before going into perspectives, I would love to share what all perspectives are we going through. There was a question of a friend who had asked, what is the difference between Ayurveda and Siddha? What system should I take? Before going into it, you should understand that Indian traditional medicine has been now codified and has been brought into one umbrella, which is called as Ayush. You will find this word everywhere. Ayurveda is A, Y for yoga, U for Unani, S for Siddha, and H for homeopathy. This is the term Ayush. The government is looking towards working and enhancing the doctors under this system. In the Tamil, there is a politics between Tamil and Sanskrit. Sanskrit believers and people who practice at one point had even told that Sanskrit is more important than traditional languages. There was a fight and there was some misunderstanding, just as our starting point is Swami Ramanujan and Swami Shankaracharya. They had to play their roles during those times, as simple as that. It doesn't mean that they were at any conflicts. We have to understand that. Similarly is Tamil and Sanskrit, Siddha and Ayurveda medicine, they are one and the same. They have been proposed by the same rishis. Agasthyar, who is Agasthyar? He comes in Atri Gotram. Agasthyar, he is also called as Kaundeya. You will find his birth in Varanasi. He comes here and writes, he codifies the Tamil language and he writes all the Tamil texts on medicine. There are 18 Siddhas. There is no difference between these 18 Siddhas and the rishis across India. They followed the same lineages. They were people who were traveling across India. You will find Atri. Atri's ashram in Tamil Nadu, near Papanasam, and you will find an Atri's ashram in Himalayas. At two different places, how was a single person? The Gotram. Across generations for thousands of years, as simple as that. You will find different references of different rishis. They all had the same lineage. They will speak in Tamil, they will speak in Telugu, they will speak in Hindi. If born today, they will go and speak also. You will find a French Vaidya also with the same Atri Gotram. There's no need of confusion. So, Ayush. Ministry is now headed by Sarbanand Sonewal ji, and we are just making a beginning after 70 years. Since 5 years we had an Ayush minister and now we have a new Ayush minister. And there are no state Ayush legislatures. You don't have an MLA for Ayush. Unless that manifests in every state, at the state level, at grassroots level, the policies of the center will not work. That is one point. What is the missing link? Why do we all feel that there is some lacuna in Ayush? There's something which is missing. Why have you not done this research? Why are you not able to fit into the Western? So many questions, and you put across the questions to the same person, Dr. Rama Jayasundar, Dr. Girija. Dr. Girija, why didn't you do this? Dr. Sudheer, why didn't you do this? These are physicians, for your understanding. They have done all these researches out of their own pockets. None of the government have funded it. So this is what is the situation in India. There are private practitioners of these systems who have to take care of their livelihood, the society, they have to make records and researches, which is a challenge because the system has not been properly developed, but the center is looking towards developing the system. Budget perspective, as Madam Girija had put forward, 97% for allopathy and 3%. She's my guru. She was a little bitter that the government is not taking care of Ayush. I would not blame the government. The problem is with the media and the public. How much of demand, if you are getting, I don't want any epidemic to come. If an epidemic comes, how many of you will demand that I want to get treated by a pure Ayurvedic doctor? I will not even ask you to raise your hand. I know how many would. There was only one Matadipati from Karnataka who registered and who put up a strike with the Karnataka government telling that he will only get treated by Ayurvedic medicines during COVID. He was jailed. It is not the mistake of the government. The media will thrash you. The media has never been supportive of Indian medicine. When has it been supportive during COVID? Now it has changed. That is different. Now the times are changing. So how many of you will have the guts to go and take a prescription from an Ayush doctor? You don't know the system, right? It is because we have the education lab, we have not been taught what is Ayurveda. Because the basic question, what is the difference between Ayurveda and Siddha? It is the same Rishi, the same lineage. There's no difference except that it is written in Tamil and this is written in Sanskrit. There would be difference in numbers. There would be difference in the way you understand. But it's all the same. So look at the beauty. This is what the World Health Organization tells. 80% of the population in India is dependent on Ayush medicine. But the budget which it has given is 88,500 crores for allopathy and 3,500 crores for Ayush. What can we do with this 3,500 crores? Even for the 130, see, we get 1.5 lakh crore as GST every month. We don't want to get the share of allopathic medicines. Let them. The system should also function. You have to improvise. You have to improvise emergency medicine. Let 88,000 crores be for allopathy. We also need 88,000 crores for Ayush. That should be the way we take across. But the government is looking towards it. Perspective of choice in science. Even the researchers in India, IIT, DST, we have made thousands of researches on herbs, but which were never on the Ayurvedic way since these past 50, 60 years, as even our scientists were unaware of Ayush till COVID came in. Till COVID came in, they were unaware of. There were very few researchers. There are beautiful researches which are done by the MD and PhD scholars of Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, Homeopathy and Naturopathy, which are still being not documented by the. So there is a parallel research which is going on in India at different spots. We have to link all these together, then we'll not be repeatedly spending money also. So these are the things which the government should look into it, and I'm very sure they are looking into it. So what are the pharmaceutical perspectives? When Dr. Giri ma'am was asked the question, what are the developments, what are the steps which are being taken to produce more herbs? We must all do it. How much of us are taking interest to grow herbs in our place? Or go and get a prescription from an Ayush doctor? There is no demand. We have the same set of patients who come to our clinic. Okay, so this is all a clinical practice. You don't find giant hospitals in Ayurveda as allopathy. Why? What happened in 70 years? When after the independence, immediately we, our forefathers, you and your forefathers, we all together immediately started constructing and contributing to allopathy system of practice. We started from our own kings. Our own kings had patronized allopathy from the start of 20th century. We have references for that. Saraboji invited Western. So it is not a time when we tell a no to Western science. Given an option, would you take a bitter decoction for 3 times a day or a white pill which is tasteless? You would always want a tasteless pill than a bitter medicine, right? So let us not find the blame game, but we completely forgot patronizing Ayurveda. How many allopathy institutions have we built? I find many of my relatives and family and friends writing off their whole wealth to allopathic institutions. How many of us have written their wealth to a Patashala or to an Ayush institution? An Ayush system, you have to understand that it was not just practiced by Brahmins. Of the 63 kalas, 63 ஆய கலைகள் 63 இருக்கு இல்லையா, அதுல வேதங்கள் 1 இல்ல 4ன்னு வெச்சுக்கோங்க. All the others were practiced by all other parts of the society. The Brahmin, the Kshatriya, the Vaishya and the Shudra all had the right to practice Ayurveda. It was never meant to be practiced by the Brahmin. That is the rule, and that was how it was even till the 19th century, because we have the references of how potters had done plastic surgery. You would have all listened. You can go and look into the website. How it was a potter who had mended the nose very casually. How much would you be paying to a facelift now? It could be few lakhs. What did the potter do? What money did he get? So the Indian system was itself in such a phase where none of our services was measured by money alone.